My oh my, look at this, guys. Today is January the 14th, 2024, and we have a ton of citrus. And I mean a ton of citrus. So I want to tell you guys a little bit about what we're currently doing right now. So we have a 30-foot wide by 100-foot long by 20-foot in the middle high tunnel in which we're growing 40 citrus trees and 2 Pakistani mulberry trees. But we are currently harvesting for market right now, and so this is, I think, about 25% of what we had on our trees. So we have a couple hundred pieces of fruit right here, but I'll go ahead and kind of show you what we got, and then you can kind of see, you know, I'll probably do a taste test right after this. But we have right here grapefruit, which is looking absolutely delicious. We have a orange frost Satsuma, and then we also have an Arctic frost just to go ahead and taste it. 2 at the same time. We have Mars orange right there. We have the famous blood orange. It is absolutely delicious. We have a ton of Meyer lemons, and this is a really cool one right here. So we have caracara, which is a sport off of a Washington navel orange, and then we have the famous variegated sport off of that, which does not have a name currently, but you can kind of see what the fruit looks like right here. Looks almost the same. This is probably a little bit more yellow on the outside and more so of like a pink reddish on the inside compared to the regular caracara, but we'll go ahead and do that taste test coming up. We also have, well, some more caracaras. We have N33, which is an absolutely excellent orange too as well. We have more mandarins, or what you would call cuties. Very good. We have Page Mandarin, which is also another excellent variety. And then we have Pixie Mandarin. So we have quite a bit going on right here. But I want to go ahead and kind of show you guys also what specifically we have growing in the tunnel right here. So basically, we'll go ahead and kind of start on the left side, which we usually go ahead and do, and then we'll kind of make our way down the row. In this part of the video, you'll see what I took probably maybe a month ago. Again, I'd probably say about, we picked off 20% of the fruit for us to eat. We had another 25%, which were all the Satsumas that I picked for market last week, and they're gone. Another 25% that are right here, and then we have another probably 30, what was that, 57, 30% that are still left on the trees. So we're about to have a mega freeze right now in the single digits for a couple nights. So I wanted to go ahead and pick these off and get to going on them. So we'll be taking them to market, but hope you guys like what they taste like, and we'll kind of go from there. So as we usually start off, we got our Okitsu Satsuma. So we let there be fruit on it this year. The fruit has not been that great. It has been a very good grower so far. So one of the things that I did this past year is I talked to an expert Satsuma grower, and what she told me is that it takes about 3 but definitely 4 years for these Satsumas to really get that flavor, really get that taste. And I really noted that in some of our other Satsumas, even though again these are all 3 years old right here. So right here we have our Miigwa Satsuma, as you can see right here, good growth on it. And then our it's Miigwa and Sheishan. Yeah, there we go. So you can kind of see what the fruit look like, very similar to our Okitsu. Now these have been pretty good this year. We took off all of them on this one this year, and reason being is that last year we had the biggest, puffiest fruit ever. The one thing you'll also notice whenever you guys are doing this or planting Satsumas, or really a lot of citrus in general, if you over fertilize, which I was doing, they'll get big, puffy, and overwatering big, puffy fruit that really is not that good. Now we have the famous bumper crop Satsuma. It is just absolutely loaded. The fruit has been absolutely delicious on this tree right here. This would be definitely one I would go ahead and get. It's sweet, it's delicious, easy to peel. I want to go ahead and show you guys the other side of this so you can kind of get to what I'm talking about with this Satsuma. So it is just absolutely loaded with Satsumas, and it is delicious, absolutely delicious. Highly encourage for anybody to go ahead and get a Satsuma tree like that one right there. Now we have a Miho Satsuma. It's pretty cool. You see the colors of the bumper crop. You see the color of pretty much all the other Satsumas. They kind of got a like a orangey type of like a Washington navel orange color. And then this is just a beautiful bright orange color, almost liken it to a persimmon. So, and I love persimmons too as well, but it's just a big, beautiful tree. It just pumps out citrus. Highly encouraged for anybody to get something like that right there. So we have Mijo, we have Cito also, has done really good with growth during this time, produced some pretty good fruit. Now this one right here, we have a Minneola Tangelo, and then we have a Knowles Clementine. So these have been, I feel like, stunted because of the fruit. So I probably pulled off, I think, maybe 60 to 70 fruit on this tree, and it doesn't look like it would even produce that much, but it did. I pulled it off, and then these were all the ones that were left on. I really wish I would have got these, but in the end, you kind of see that like top part of it, which is pretty characteristic of the Minneolas. Now these are absolutely delicious. So it is hard to pull off the fruit, but I would rather the trees get as big as like some of these versus how small these trees are. But again, it's always hard with kiddos and trying to do all this stuff all at the same time to get this stuff going and to do it the proper way. But I tried, pulled off about 60 fruit on it. We have maybe, I think 15, 20 fruit. And again, absolutely delicious. Super sweet taste. Pretty much everybody likes it. Encouraged for anybody to get that one. So this one right here, now it produced a lot of fruit. I wish again I would have taken off all of the fruit. It has not been that good, and that tends to happen with a lot of trees that produce for the first time, at least in my experience. So in the first time of producing with this tree right here, the fruit has not been that good. Usually on that second, but definitely on the third year, on production wise, it tends to get a lot better. So just something to kind of note. It's grown very well, at least in over the past several years. Now this one has just become a beast of a beast. And this is supposed to be an Algerian Clementine. Now this, look, my hand is not small, but it makes my hand look small. This does not look like a Clementine or an Algerian Clementine. It more so looks like this. And this is a bloom sweet grapefruit. It even has leaves that are kind of similar to it too as well. But yeah, I have not tested it yet. But also sometimes as well, what will happen is that a lot of fruit that gets bared for the first time will be abnormal than what it usually looks like. And what I mean by that is that usually a Clementine looks kind of like this, kind of smallish, not too big, kind of like the rest of these, not too big at all, small, super sweet, really good. Not this color, kind of more so that kind of orange type of color. So I don't know what this is, but I bought it as an Algerian Clementine from a very reputable nursery. So I don't know if maybe something got switched on it or what happened, but I'm gonna open this puppy up and see exactly what it is pretty soon. And I'm loving to go ahead and hopefully make a big taste testing video this year since I have a little bit more time. But again, it is a gigantic tree. I even had to rope it back. So you'll see me roping it back a lot of my bigger citrus. So I ended up putting 10-foot T-posts on the side so you can see what 10 foot looks like. And it looks like it's about to explode out of here. So just something to note. We have an Ori Satsuma, another Ori Satsuma. I think they have actually produced some good Satsumas this year compared to previous years where they were kind of puffy for me. But very good Satsumas. They haven't grown like super fast, but they've been decent. I think more so because of the cold hit them, and they got frozen back a little bit last year. So just something to note. We have a Brown Select Satsuma that actually produced tons and tons of Satsumas. They have actually been good this year. Kind of the same thing with the Ori, just kind of growth wise, hasn't been like super vigorous, but has grown decently. Now, this is a really cool one right here. We have an Orange Frost and an Arctic Frost. Now, if you guys remember from, I guess, a year ago, this sucker was loaded. And I'll show you what the fruit looks like on this Arctic Frost. So this Arctic Frost had fruit that was loaded like this. It was absolutely delicious. It was my favorite fruit of my kids last year. Easy to peel. The tree is beautiful, especially when it has a bunch of orange globes on it. And then with this Orange Frost, this one just absolutely exploded. And I mean exploded. I have to go to the back so you guys could see what it looks like too as well. So it just keeps on going and going and going non-stop. Tons of citrus production out of these trees. Specifically, this one was really good this past year. So and it tastes delicious. So as people know, like the Satsuma type of taste, it has a little bit of that, but it also has a little bit like kind of like a sweetness, acid, tartness type of taste to it. I love that type of taste. Some people might not, but on top of that, with the vigor and with how low it could go, these really have not taken any type of damage from any type of cold that we'll have. So unlike some of the Satsumas, which have taken a little bit of damage throughout the years, these have not. That being Orange Frost, Arctic Frost. They look beautiful. Absolutely taste beautiful. Now, these trees don't look that good, but they are losing their leaves, as you can kind of tell right here. We have a purple Pakistani, and then we have the big, gigantic white Pakistani. And so we're also doing a couple air layers on some of them, but again, I always do the hand test for this tree right here. There's my hand. I can't even see the other side of my hand. So it is a big, gigantic tree. This one is getting that big. Around 2 as well. Hard to see it, but it is a big tree. And I mean big, massive tree. So one thing I learned, also I called up an expert grower because I was not getting the type of fruit that I was supposed to be getting, especially off a third-year Pakistani mulberry. So the one thing to note, at least that I learned, is that all these branches that are exploding out of here, they need to be left for at least 1 year, the fruiting wood on it. And so some people think it's common sense. For me, it wasn't. And then plus, on top of that, I was trying to trim this up so I can stay in my tunnel. So it is touching kind of like the tip part of year. I know I ended up having another white Pakistani mulberry in a pot, and it did really well, and it produced tons and tons of mulberries. So but I think that took like 1.5 years or 2 years. I can't remember, but or maybe a year. But this will be 1 year's worth of wood by the time we get to March or April of this coming up 24 year, which should be enough, I think, to go ahead and get lots of mulberries. We'll see what happens. And then we got the famous Lips and Lemon doing excellent right here. I don't know. Let me see. Well, oh, yeah. So we got some lemons right here. They are absolutely delicious. I like them. I think they're way better than the store. But that's just my opinion on it. And then we got the famous right here, Rio Red. Another Rio Red grapefruit. They are just absolutely humongous. I probably took off maybe 60, 70 fruit, and we still have, let's see, tons of fruit. Let me go ahead and show you. It's a little bit up high, but look at that beautiful blush color. Looks absolutely great. Let's see if we have another blush. Ooh, look at that. That sucker is ready. These are absolutely delicious. I would highly encourage for anybody to get any grapefruit. But these Real Reds are absolutely fantastic, including this massive, let's see if I can get it in the picture, gigantic ruby red. It has been absolutely delicious. No complaints about it at all. It has been great. And all these trees are just so vigorous. Probably some of my most vigorous trees that I have in this high tunnel right here, including this Bloom Sweet. It has finally woken up and it's doing really well. Now, kind of like with what I was talking about with first year trees, I think the fruit is not that great. as of yet. I think it's okay, but it's I think it's lacking compared to some of these other trees right here. Now these have been super vigorous. This has been okay on its vigor, but again, I think it still needs some more time on this. Now this one has finally grown. It's taken, or to me it seems like it's taken forever. This is a Hamlin Sweet. I probably picked off probably 60-70 fruit on it. This is the one and only, so I hope to do a taste test video on it. Whether it was in a pot or not, it actually did very, very well taste wise. This one has been absolutely fantastic too as well. This has been our Mars orange. It's been super vigorous, super productive, not big on height like those guys, but it's just been great on production. The taste is excellent. It has a couple seeds, but man, that taste is so good. And so you can kind of get a reference on how big the orange is. It is great. My kids love it. This is probably one of my favorite oranges right here. It's the N33. It has been absolutely delicious. It has been productive. It has it's still growing, as you can kind of see these new leaves, kind of the lighter green compared to the darker leaves right here. It's been a really good grower. It's starting to catch up to the Mars. It's been productive. We've probably, I forgot to tell you, we've been just eating oranges probably since our earliest ever, starting in September of this year on, what was it? It was on the Kishu, which is over there. And then we've just been pumping out oranges ever since, but we've picked out a lot from here and here, probably maybe 30 oranges here, another maybe 30. So they're kind of a little bit sparse right now compared to what they look like about a month or two ago. This right here, let's go and zoom out, is I think my most beautiful tree I have. And finally, and I mean finally, the fruit are absolutely delicious. This is a blood orange. It looks beautiful on the inside. It looks nice on the outside too as well. The tree is beautiful and it is just loaded with fruit. Wish you guys could see this in person, but this is absolutely loaded with fruit. There's a bird's nest. No birds have been harmed in this video, just joking. But this is just pumping out fruit, and it is so good, and it's got that blood red color in it. And I think we're almost there. We're about maybe just a couple weeks ready from for like the true blood red, but it's almost there on this tree. Highly productive, beautiful tree. Same thing with this one right here, the Road Red Valencia. We have not had any on it. Looks like it's starting to change or wanting to change right here. But these aren't ready usually until a little bit later in the season. I think probably February or March of 24. So we'll taste that right there and see if it's any good. Now this right here is my favorite of the favorites. So I thought I had another favorite, which is either probably the N33. But man, again, these come out as the winners consistently. And I mean consistently. It just doesn't fail. Over and over again. They are productive, very productive, extremely productive. Harder to see it in all the canopies, but very productive. We picked off so much fruit off of these trees, probably maybe, I don't know, 40, 50 fruit. So, and they ripen fairly early. And these are the magical caracaras, or what we would call like a sport off of a Washington Navel orange. But look at this. And this is, I think, pretty cool for your citrus nerds. Here is a variegated sport off of a sport. So if you guys know the history behind the caracara, it was a sport off of a Washington Navel. Now I have not only the caracara going, but we also have the sport. Or a genetic alteration in this tree where it made not only variegated leaves, which can happen every so often. You'll hear somebody having something like this. I know with some of the California growers, they'll have something like this from time to time. But then on top of that, we have the fruit. So again, that taste test hopefully coming up in these next couple of weeks. Looks beautiful. You can kind of compare it. There it is. It looks almost kind of a yellowish color to the orange color. but we're gonna taste this for the first time. I've never tasted it before on the variegated portion of this. So this is a really cool thing. I've been waiting a long time for something like this. So hopefully we'll go ahead and get something going. Again, within these next couple of weeks, we should be able to go ahead and taste test this. Now, as far as our New Zealand lemonade right here, it is always vigorous, grows very well, but I guess our problem is really it keeps on getting knocked back by the cold. I know it's not meant to take the cold, it's just in a colder spot, which is kind of the corner of this tunnel. Usually the corners are the coldest, and I'll show you way in the back with the Persian lime, the same issue. So it looks beautiful, big, tall, strong, vigorous, no fruit on it at all. I didn't even have to pull anything off of it, so kind of stinks. But and then right here we have our famous Meyer lemons. And let's see if we can pan out so you can kind of see how big that one is. And look at that. It's just craziness with these Meyer lemons. It's just, it doesn't stop. You know, people, think not too highly of these because they're cheaper and you can pretty much get them anywhere, all throughout the country. No issues at all with that. Now, I think they're fantastic because they're productive. They can survive the cold fairly easily. I think. I would almost put them on the scale of my mandarins, which are a little bit further back over there. So it's just something I think of during this time, kind of being able to survive that cold. And then on top of that, with the productivity, they are delicious. And what I mean by that, they got that acidic taste, but then they also got that sweet taste too as well, which you don't really get a lot from like in a lemon that you'll get from H-E-B or anything like that. So, but highly productive. We'll tell anybody to get one of these right here, and super cheap as well. This guy right here got knocked back really, really bad. And you can see these beautiful little beautiful little leaves right here. Beautiful leaves all the time, and then it is even wanting to flower right now. Let's see, there it is. There it is. Yeah, so it's just beautiful, but it gets knocked back by the cold quite often. This is a Eureka variegated lemon right here. The fruit are delicious. It's a beautiful tree, but definitely just something to note on if it can take the cold or not, and it really can't seem to take the cold very well. Same thing right here with this gigantic, huge Eureka Frost lemon. It's huge, it's big, did not produce any lemons this year, and on top of that, I don't know. I'm gonna again give it a chance, and hopefully this will be the year that maybe we have a lighter type of year when it comes to cold. But we'll see. We'll see what happens between these guys. I'm definitely not getting rid of them, but I really would love to have more fruit on these guys right here. Then right here we have a fantastic variety called the Pixie Mandarin, and it looks beautiful. I still actually have not tried one of these mandarins yet right here, but it's a beautiful tree, has grown very well. I think has been a little bit slower than some of my other trees, but just something to note during this time. And then on top of that, the king of all kings, that being, at least I would say the new king of all kings, that being for my kiddos, is the Kishu Mandarin. Now, we probably had about 150 fruit on this tree, and there is not a single one left. Why is that? Because my kids tore this sucker up. It had no chance going against my kids. They were small and round. Probably, let's see if we can do a comparison. So if this is just a Pixie, it was probably like half the size of this. Easy to peel, seedless, and delicious, and easy to get off the tree. King of all kings for kiddos. I would highly encourage you to get any one of basically this plant right here. If you had to get one citrus for kiddos, this would be it. And then plus on top of that, even with the 150 fruit on it, it did not weep at all. It kind of stayed like with what you're currently seeing right now, which is kind of crazy because like with this, you can see I'm having to have all these strings and the T-posts and stuff like that to hold up the fruit. Well, with this one, that's not needed at all. But just something to kind of note during this particular time. So, and then we have, it is so nuts. Look at that. It's just so much citrus galore. This keeps on going and going and going to this little guy. But these are, I would say, the cold hardy kings that we have around here. Nothing touches them at all. And it's absolutely amazing. We have our mandarins. We have our Clementine mandarin. We have a Poncan mandarin. And then we have a Page mandarin. All of them are delicious. Very, very sweet. Very, very good. Easy to peel. The only issue with the kiddos, as you can see why we have so many of them right here, is that they got seeds. Hey guys, just to recap, I had to go get my baby. But here we are again with, I think, as far as kind of cold hardy citrus, these mandarins right here are the kings of all kings. They are just super productive, super healthy right here, and super sweet. Really, really good. I love them. My kids don't like them as much, and the reason being is usually because of the seeds. You'll find probably maybe anywhere from like 1 to maybe 5, 6 seeds in every single one. This is kind of similar to what the quichus look like, at least the size right here. I know some of these could get a little bit larger, such as right here. Easy to peel for kids, adults, for anybody like that. I love them. A lot of people like them. We sell a lot of them too as well. So definitely something to go ahead and get on both of those guys. Again, if you have like kind of a smaller yard, this one's a really good one to kind of place like in a corner and or maybe against your house. But I really like this mandarin right here. Let's see if we can see it. This Page mandarin. There it is. Yeah, so short, squatty, absolutely delicious. I like it. Has a couple seeds in it, but very, very good. The king of all kings. I hate to say it, but it is not the king of all kings anymore, but the taste is absolutely delicious. I think it's the king of all the mandarins right here when it comes to the taste. But last year, which I'm a little bit scared of, at least going into this year, is it had production, I think it was 2 years ago, very similar to like these mandarins right here. It was super productive, just like these, probably produced on the tree maybe 200, 250 fruit. But then this past year, I thought it was gonna die on me, and then it's making a recovery. It's still in recovery mode, and the fruit still tastes delicious on it. So I would definitely get this one, but it's going to be an interesting experiment to see what it looks like from these mandarins right here that are just pumping out mandarins, to see if this coming up year they'll look like they're dying or set back just because of the production that they have on it. Like this particular mandarin 2 years ago when it had about 200, 250 fruit on it. Again, it's a great variety, super delicious. I think the best tasting out of all the mandarins, so I get encouraged to get that one. Now, my limes. So, every year, consistently, even though it looks big, humongous, vigorous, not a single lime on it, but this is the Mexican lime or key lime. Grows very well, big trunk on it too as well. But again, the issue with it is that every year it gets knocked back because of the cold. Even with my heat that I have right here from the cinder blocks. So just something to note. Now this one was probably the most interesting one out of all my Persian limes. We have this Persian lime right here, and then we have this tiny little guy right here. So this one did not even get touched by any of the cold that we had last year. And while a lot of our other trees did, this one was like super vigorous, stayed the same, no issues with it at all. You can see it just pumps out tons of limes. Again, usually on limes, specifically like Persian limes, it's always good to get them when they're yellow, not green, like with what they sell at H-E-B or any store. And so I'll take a little bit of a closer look at that. They are delicious. They're big, bigger than the store, at least the store I go to. And yeah, I don't know what happened, but usually, again, kind of the parts of the high tunnel which are the hardest hit are usually at the corners. And so that Persian lime got knocked back significantly. This one did not at all, even though it's just 8 feet away from it. So I don't know what the deal is, but this one has done excellent, produced lots of limes, no issues with it at all. I love it. Great for drinks. I thought my limes didn't love me, but this one seems to love me, and, and it wants to stay. And so I'm excited about that. I'm hoping that this one, or this Persian lime, will convince this Mexican lime into staying and not dying back this year, but we'll see what happens. I was thinking about switching out this tree right here, but I don't know. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. We'll see. So, but anyways, that's the tour of this high tunnel. I forgot, I wanted to show you guys what the back of this looked like, because it was just so fantastic. Taking a look at, so this is what the back of these mandarins look like. It's just, again, so much, so much. And then I wanted to show you the back of the Meyer lemon too, because it's hard to get the whole perspective of the tree, but just tons of Meyer lemons everywhere. Probably we had maybe 100 or more. We probably picked off like, I think 40 or 50 of them already on both of the trees. So, and harder to see the value of it on this small camera right here. But anyways, so this is it right here. This is the tour of the whole greenhouse. There's my baby. But yeah, so this is the tour right here. If you guys have any questions, shoot them below. If you guys have any suggestions, of course, shoot them below. I don't know anybody that's really doing any of this type of stuff, so I again, like I say on the video, every single year, anybody can do something like this, even with the small tiny little high tunnel that you can get from Walmart or Amazon or any one of those little places, like a 10 by 20. You can put 1 or 2 trees in there, let them get big, strong, put some Christmas lights around them, maybe rocks as a heat source, like my other tunnel right here. I forgot to show you guys, but you see there's rocks. I'd rather go with the rocks versus this. It's cheaper with rocks versus the cinder blocks, even though it wasn't that expensive with the cinder blocks. But so you can get that heat, some Christmas lights around them, and I think you'd be rocking and rolling just like this too as well. But yeah, if you guys like this video, please subscribe to our channel, and if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. We appreciate it. We will try to go ahead and make more videos, and I am almost guaranteeing 99.9% that I will be doing taste testing videos of every single citrus tree in here, so you guys could see what they look like on the inside, what they taste like, and all that other stuff. So, but again, we appreciate everything, guys, and hopefully you guys can do the same thing. Thanks, guys.